Hello everyone, my name is Padmini V Ganti. I'm a person who seeks to be inspired, inspire and celebrate inspiration every day. I'm a celebrity without any trolls or distractions of how many views or how many likes. I wholeheartedly thank the TED platform for this delightful opportunity, and I'm absolutely excited to be here today amidst this wonderful audience. Here is my story. For the last 30 years, I have been getting up at 4:30 a.m. every morning, except for Sundays where I generally pamper myself with an extra 30 minutes. The first hour of my day is the golden hour, divided into 3 blocks of 20 minutes each. 20 minutes of rigorous workout, 20 minutes of reading and writing, and the last 20 minutes I keep it for deep reflections. In the last so many years, during the reflections time, I never failed to ask myself this one question: how can I be better than yesterday? And ladies and gentlemen, this is no exaggeration at all. The word how propels me to get excellent at what I do and what I can do, and feeds me with resourceful ideas and suggestions for continuous improvements. And not just that, the word how compels me to look at things, issues, challenges, or be it situations differently, be it at home or at work. Sherlock Holmes once said famously to Dr. Watson, "You see, but you don't observe. The distinction is clear." For me, how has become far more important than what in all these years, and this has helped me in maximizing all my roles thus far, be it on professional or a personal front. My early lessons of inspiration come from my parents, who hail from large families which could have easily outdone a cricket team in terms of their head count. So the most important lesson learned from them was modest means was a luxury in their large families. Therefore, frugality got embedded in our lifestyles and in our mindsets too. For example, even today I do not see my mother wasting even a single drop of milk when she cuts open the packet and pours it into a utensil. My father uses those thick invitation cards for making small monthly milk calendars for his milkman. I use the wastewater from my RO to water my small garden every morning. These are just few examples. There are many more. The underlying point is that frugality has become a constant endeavor for us in our family. Well, it is an established fact that I cannot opt out of playing my dharma, right? Because it is the universe that chose me to play all these roles, be it at home with family and kids or be it at work. And not just that, the universe has been instrumental in creating newer roles for me, like that of an author, speaker, entrepreneur, and probably many more into the future. I'm not a feminist. However, I take pride in being a woman and also being the protagonist of my life's movie. In the last so many years, I had the opportunity to observe several women who are homemakers, women running successful organizations, women successfully managing key roles in large organizations. But the point is that most of them have been successful only on one front, either personal or professional. I'm sure the moment you heard me saying this, ladies and gentlemen, it would have triggered an alarm in your mind saying that, no, this is just not true. We are able to manage both work and home pretty well. Well, if that's the case, you are neither completely wrong nor completely right. Well, think of the expense at which you have been trying to manage both these ends. There is a fancy little word to this behavior. It is called balancing, a balancing act. Ladies and gentlemen, balancing is a modern day myth. Balancing leads to compromising and adjusting, whereas maximizing gets you the best out of everything in your life. And to elucidate that, I'm bringing to you today 5 best practices from personal and professional life, which I have learned from few maximized women in my life. And believe you me, if applied in a CrossFit fashion, could give us the ultimate benefits of maximization. And these practices have been divided into 2 categories: home to work and work to home practices. So let's quickly get started with home to work practices, because as women, that's the closest to our heart. The first one coming on the screen is organizing discipline. I'm sure each of you could relate it to a kitchen scenario where as women we try to keep our kitchens clean, neat, tidy, and ready for the next day, right? This is not being lazy at all. For that matter, We do this because we can catch up with an extra sleep, 15-20 minutes of extra sleep the next morning, isn't it? So this simple hack of organizing discipline helps us to save around 30 to 40 minutes of run around the next morning, right? Now, taking this hack back to work, one can become great time manager even at work too. And this also reflects in Stephen Covey's time management matrix, where we are taught how to make time for important and urgent matters by managing important and not so urgent matters really well. Say, for instance, preparing your to-do list for the next day, setting up your catch-up appointments or meetings for the next day could save good amount of time and energy for you at office the next day, isn't it? The next one, creating an ecosystem of support. Those of you who have kids here would understand what an ordeal is to manage kids, especially when they are less than 1 year old and especially for working women, right? Therefore, we create an ecosystem of support at home to manage these newer responsibilities. And this ecosystem is generally created with the help of nannies, spouse, parents, neighbors, at times our bosses and colleagues too. Right? Now, taking this back to our workplace, why can't we create an ecosystem of support and growth even at a workplace? And this ecosystem could be created with the help of bosses, super bosses, peers, sponsors, your immediate team members, and your immediate family members. Also, the way you are vocal with the requirement and the expectations from the ecosystem on the home front, it is really necessary to list out the elements of growth clearly, articulate it to the concerned in the ecosystem so that the ecosystem could be well utilized for your professional growth. Number 3, stakeholder management. This is well staged in a family scenario, right? We know power play reigns. Even today, we know who is the first person to read the newspaper when it comes home in the morning before it changes hands during the day, right? And not just that, in a family scenario, the roles and responsibilities of every family member, including that of an extended family member like a kamwali bai, doodwala, chai wala, paper wala, is well articulated and defined. The only difference is they are neither documented nor circulated, correct? And not just that, in a family scenario, the most important responsibility of every role on the family tree is give each other unconditional support. And irrespective of the differences, the job gets unapologetically done. Now, all these fundamentals of stakeholder management could be applied back at workplace or a business setup. Because power play reigns, organograms are made and circulated, the job also gets unapologetically done. Then why is that so much of importance is given to stakeholder management at workplace when we know that our family has just got little bigger at work? So think about it. Number 4. Taking a rejuvenation break. The day we know that we are just not feeling like cooking, we take a break from cooking and we binge on a nearby restaurant. I often do this on Sundays. I don't cook lunch on Sundays. We either order it from outside or my daughter helps me in fixing the lunch for that afternoon. So, not just that. For me, Sunday is a absolutely no mobile day. Now, what these practices do to me? They give me, my body, my mind the required break and helps me to get ready for the next week's roller coaster. And now, taking this back to the workplace, why can't we finish our work from Monday to Friday and take Saturday, Sunday completely off? This could be a high-priced practice, I fully agree. But this will become essential as one grows up the ladder in one's professional career. Therefore, it is worth considering giving it a thought. And the last one on this category, culture building. Culture building is a buzzword in corporate world, and many a times we understand it has its roots in the family system, right? The culture building in the family is done by the adults of the house, and it basically entails shared responsibilities, learning new things, helping the new family members or the generation how to carry the culture and the family legacy across forward to the other generations. And not just that, the cultural sensitivity is organically measured and feedback is made vocal. Now, why is that? Many organizations even find it difficult today to define their culture, drive it across, and measure its impact. The answer is very simple. In a family scenario, all the people are very close to each other because they get to spend time with each other. Therefore, all these techniques of culture building from the family front could be applied back at workplace with careful planning and implementation strategies. Now moving to our next category, which is the work to home practices. The first one, defining success. Success is a much debated theme, right? However, many a times we leave the definition or interpretation of our success to others. So what is going to make a world of difference for me or anybody is what we think of success for ourselves and not anybody else. I'm sure those of you sitting here have goals in your life, but the question is how many of you have family related goals on that goal sheet? The way our performance at work is absolutely or rather directly proportional to the effort and achievement, it's important to have family related goals. There are periodical reviews, taking out time to celebrate small wins, and most important to have feedback loop as a closure to have effective families. By the way, when I start my year, I give myself 5 goals, and every time 2 on it has always been family related goals. Number 2, having mentors. All of us understand the importance of having mentors on our professional life, but why is it not considered important to have mentors even on home front in our personal life? Many times we feel that the therapists or the counselors could do the job, and not just that, we tend to assume that our mothers and mother-in-laws are our de facto mentors. Therefore, I urge you not to get into that trap at all. Instead, look around yourself for people, men and women, who have been able to create real impact in their lives. By creating and nurturing, enriching relationships, reach out to them, become their mentees, and learn on those nuske. There is a saying in the language that I speak. It says, Intagalachi Ratchagalavali, which simply means that you got to win the battles on the home ground before emerging victorious on the workplace battles, right? Number 3, upskilling and reskilling. All of us understand the importance of upskilling and reskilling on the professional career. But why is it not even considered important to upskill and reskill on the home front? Because it could entail either learning or improving our existing capabilities on the home front, which could be related to, say, cooking, home organization, financial management, time management, parenting, and many more. Because robots have still not taken our place in the families, it is still important to consider upskilling and reskilling to have sustainable living. Number 4, being process-oriented. The organizations which believe in scale generally follow an approach which is systematic and structured, and it gives them a lot of definitive results because they follow processes. And not only it reduces, following processes reduce their number of errors, but also a lot of rework. Now, on the home front, the ghar ke taur tarike are the so-called processes and procedures at home, right? And these are basically designed by the adults of the house out of their personal experiences, and absolutely many a times with low or no factual or factual or logical data to back it up. Therefore, the many generations, the new ones, do not really understand why they are following what they are following, right? Therefore, process orientation is also important on the home front, and it should entail key elements like root cause analysis, continuous improvements, lean methodologies, tracking and monitoring progress, and many more. Because running a family is as intricate as running full-time business, isn't it? And the last one on this category, taking the PMO route. PMO, project management organization or project management orientation, is the word that we generally hear in medium to large scale organizations. And PMO is generally managing multiple projects at the same time, right? So the point here is that if we are able to follow at least few of the fundamentals of PMO back at home, it is going to help us attain a lot of our milestones seamlessly. For example, if you have a project at home to equip your teenage son with basic cooking skills, it is not going to take any lesser than 6 to 8 months, and it's going to be as difficult, as joyful, and as intricate as a workplace project. So therefore, by following all or at least few of the techniques of PMO, not only we achieve all the milestones seamlessly, it improves the bonding within the family members, and not just that, just like a workplace, it is extremely joyous to work in workplace projects. Now, to sum up my talk, ladies and gentlemen, the fundamental idea here is that there are many areas in our personal and professional front which could be easily maximized by adopting and adapting the best practices from home and work in an integrated manner, because the mundane chores of the house are waiting for teaching us winning strategies to be applied back at work. At the same time, the best practices at work are waiting to be replicated back at home to improve our efficiency. So ladies and gentlemen, in this trying modern times, a woman can have the best of both her worlds, not by balancing, but by maximizing. And I am a strong example for it, and I take complete pride in saying so. Therefore, a big shout out to all the women present here. Pack up balancing, embrace and pick up maximizing for yourselves in whole gracefully. Thank you.